So I've been watching the Stanley Cup for the hockey, right? And I've noticed that every single commercial break, and this goes for soccer as well, every single commercial break has one of the two Volkswagen ads going on. And they're both like, they're amazing ads, super emotive. One of them's kind of fun. One of them is kind of sad, but emotional in a beautiful way. You know? The first one is, there's the couple that buy their little Volkswagen. And then it shows them in like a parking lot and the thing's all jumping around everywhere. And it's like, oh, they're getting it in, you know? And then they show up at the car dealership and they roll a bigger car in because they've now got a baby from the car sex. That is a warning to any of you out there. You may think car sex is fun, but there's consequences. So yeah, it's a bigger car, and then you see the bigger car off, and then that's jumping around, and then they go back to get an even bigger car, because now they've got 2 kids. And then goes off, bouncing around, third car, with a third child on the way. And then it does it again, and you're like, for God's sake, just get a room! Why are you still fucking in cars? What is your problem? Sorry, darling, I just love the leather interior of this Volkswagen. I just can't get hard without some of this fine synthetic leather. But then it shows you inside the car, and they're just jumping around in the car with all the kids. It's a beautiful, happy time. And you're like, oh, I thought they were just having sex again. But they were just playing with their actual children that the aforementioned sex produced. You know, and it's a lovely, happy commercial, a little bit cheeky. And then the second one is, it starts off super sad. It's like an old lady has an urn and she's reading, the will from her now deceased husband. Super sad. And he's like, I want you to drive across America, see the country that I love. So they go from like, I guess it's New York to LA, and it's the whole family's there, and there's the little girl, and it shows them stopping off in a bunch of places across the way, you know. And it's like the girl's, sometimes she's sad looking out the window, sometimes she's happy. She holds her granny's hand and goes, oh no, this is beautiful, this is lovely, granny, you know. And they're in like that woods with the gigantic trees. I think that might be its actual now, whatever that place is called, you know. One of the ones across like the old Wild West, where it's just flat plains and desert, and like the camera pans up really cool. And they get to the West Coast, to the Pacific Ocean, and they start pouring the ashes out. And it's like, oh, they couldn't have done this without a Volkswagen. And it's a really like darkly beautiful ad. And I was thinking like, man, Volkswagen have got some kick-ass ads. Oh yeah, because they had that big emissions scandal that they're trying to make you forget about. These ads aren't to try and remind you that, you know, life is short, you know, that you should be banging in cars, that children are a beautiful thing to happen, that death is sad, but the journey we take within ourselves, both within ourselves and across the country to take care of a dying wish, is a beautiful thing. No, what happened was they lied about the emissions on 11 million cars. So the background that I got from it, they were trying to introduce super low emission diesel Volkswagens into the US market. And the problem was they weren't actually low emissions at all. They were very high emissions. But they fudged like with the results of it. So I can't remember if it was they put like a false detector in there or they just straight up lied. I don't know how they did it. If I knew, I probably would be getting paid a lot of money to do it for other car companies, because I'm sure they're all clean. I'm sure none of them are doing anything dirty, fudging with their emissions reports, or I don't know. What was it, messing with the safety stuff? Oh shit! You remember that scene in Fight Club? Whereas, Edward Norton's character is like, yeah, we work out, if there's a fault on the car, we work out what the average settlement is. And if that cost is lower than the cost of recalling the cars, we just let that many people die. And it's like, holy shit. Of course they're screwing with the emissions reports. That only slowly murders the planet. That doesn't actively kill people. But yeah, so like Volkswagen, they got busted a little while ago, and I'm sure they got a gigantic fine, and I'm sure they totally paid it. They might have actually paid it. I don't know. I didn't Google that far. Yeah, so they took some time out of the limelight, and they're coming back with a huge advertising campaign so that you've now got warm, fuzzy feelings when you think about Volkswagen. You dirty bastards! No, everyone does that. It's like super common. Like, remember there was a period where it was like Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber all of a sudden went nuts and started doing all this crazy shit. And then they took some time out, and now like their image is rehabbed. And all that was, again, that was just marketing. That was just taking them, shedding their childhood image, because now like, oh, wild kid on the loose. Look how outrageous they are. You know, it gets rid of taking them as like a kid artist. You don't think of Justin Bieber, the teenager. You don't think of Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. You're now like, well, look at this fucking tearaway. And then they disappear out the limelight for a while, you know, after they finish like grinding on, what was it, like panda bears and shit. And then spitting on their fans, you know. They disappear for a while. They're rehabbed. And now it's like, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, grown-up, serious artists. It is all marketing. It's nuts. I mean, I do really actually enjoy Justin Bieber's music. I'm not even shitting on him. I could see like the manipulation of the image to go from one point to the other point. So I'm trying to use that knowledge to take myself from a fucking nobody into something slightly more. It's going really badly so far. It's like I can reverse engineer other people's methods, but then I have no idea how to use it for my own positive gain. So all I need to do, I need to go out in the street, start spitting at people, and then lay low for a few months, and then come back and I'm like, John Simmons, biggest stand-up comedian in the world. Somehow, I doubt that's going to happen. I've got a funny feeling, guys.